Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, March 15th. I'm Charles Brown, Portfolio Manager with CB3 Financial in Nashville. We are so glad you're with us tonight. This is the beginning of Season 2 for CB3 Live and this particular episode of the Monday Market Mashup. Just want to remind you guys the reason this program exists. Basically, we have two different kinds of people that watch the show. They are either going to be clients of ours that want to keep up to date with what we're managing for them in their portfolios, or they're people that just want to get an honest financial education. They want to know what's moving the market and how it could affect their investments. That's what I bring to you. That's what I pledge to bring to you every single week. We don't have an agenda here. We don't have a bias. We look at the market from the aspect of what's going on in COVID, at least right now. It may not always be that way, but for now, certainly it influences the market. And then U.S. policy, and then the world economic scene. And we put that all together. We try to bring clarity to it, and we give it to you guys. Okay? And you guys use it how you wish. If you're customers of ours, you'll know how your portfolio decisions are being made. And if you just want to get an education, we're glad you're here, and we hope you stay with us. This is the Monday Market Mashup. It's the preview program to the Thursday night CB3 Live. And if this is your first time, we hope you'll join us for that too. If it is your first time, be sure that you click the button and subscribe to us, and also click the bell so that you get notified when we go live. We're live almost every Thursday night during the year, and we may go live from time to time on Mondays as well, depending on what's happening in the market. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So this is the Season 2 kickoff. COVID plus policy plus markets, that equals what we're talking about tonight. And again, this is just basically a preview, what I've seen so far this week, just one day's worth of trading, and preparing you for what we're going to cover on Thursday night. So we kick it off with COVID. Invax has reported an efficacy really great numbers against the COVID-19 strains. Now, you guys are aware that there are these mutant strains that are coming along now, but if this proves to be strong, Invax is going to join Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson with a fourth vaccine, okay, which is just great news. I think I need to read some of Joe Biden's speech here, and this is from last Thursday night. We were on the air, actually live, when this was happening. Basically, he highlighted, that he's been working with Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, et cetera. Where I lost him a little bit was, we've lost so much over the last year. We've lost family and friends. We've lost businesses. We've lost time. This is a dark time for America. You're not going to hear that on this program. I mean, this is what our president is saying, and I have to report this to you. But I just want you to know that if you've watched this program in Season 1, you see that I have a proclivity, if you will, for finding the good in all of this. There have been a lot of tragic stories. You can find those stories elsewhere. That's not going to be something we're going to cover here. I'm going to cover how COVID, how U.S. policy, and how world economics are affecting our investments. This is a financial program, although policy certainly plays into it. We've lost faith in our government, our democracy. These are his words, not mine. Again, I just think it's important at this time that we're positive going forward. I think we need to encourage the American people. Certainly in my own humble way here, I'm going to encourage you guys that the best of times are up ahead of us. I believe that for the market. I believe that for the economy. And, I hope you'll stay with us as we talk about these various areas. So that's COVID, and there'll be more, of course, on Thursday. U.S. policy. So this is a distinction I want to draw. Politics is everywhere, in workplaces, houses of worship, families, who gets what, when and where, and how much is determined by many factors every day, everywhere. So politics is not the same as policy. Policy is what a government decides to do or not do. Every level of government makes the rules for living, working, and paying in that space. So those decisions are the actual policies, and yes, politics plays a role in what the policy becomes, but they're not the same thing. And I want to draw that distinction here because There's a lot of really ugly politics in America right now, and there's a lot that I don't like, but I have to work hard to bring you the essence of policy. Okay? Politics are for other news channels, other commentary channels, but I have to report to you honestly when policy made by either at the presidential level, the federal level, the state level, I won't get too much into a local level because most of you don't live here in Nashville. But certainly policy does affect or can have the potential to affect our investments. And I feel like I need to get that information to you. So I do want to relay what is going on with this $1.9 trillion package that President Biden just signed recently. If you do a screenshot on this, you can see it's going to a lot of different areas. Only about 7% is actually going towards COVID relief. We have stimulus checks, of course, for people, small business relief. $360 billion is just labeled government. Frankly, what that means is bailing out many states and cities that have pled with the government to do that. And as you would expect, many of these are large cities that, in my opinion, are mismanaged. And when this kind of money is being shelled out that our tax dollars are paying for, I think you have to realize that down the road, it is going to affect our investments. This is not something that I, again, want to get in the weeds in as far as politics goes, but as far as policy, these are the sorts of decisions that our federal government, in this case, is making. And I have to add to the spool of thought and reason here as I look at investments and see what potential risks there are for you as our clients or you as our people that want to be educated by what I bring to you. So that's pretty important. So in his first primetime address, President Biden said he wants all U.S. citizens to be eligible by May 1st and trying to get 100 million doses into American hands, by May. I think that is probably doable. A lot of this was in place, just for the record, in the previous administration. So both administrations working together here to make this possible. But again, only $75 billion. You can go back and do a screen capture there. Of that $1.9 trillion package is directly for COVID testing, contact tracing, and vaccine distribution. So I think there's going to be some waste there. And again, not sure how this plays out for our investments other than it weighs down the U.S. With yet more debt burden. And that obviously does concern me. So the third topic we cover is the world economy. And the first, what we call subsegment, is the weekly market review. The Russell 2000, which are the small caps, just continues to impress here, up almost 20% for the year. The Dow 7.7, the S&P 5.7, the NASDAQ coming along. But remember, last year the NASDAQ was clearly in the lead after the market bottomed on March 23rd. So right now, the Russell is catching up. Now, as I've said all along here, that it's important that all asset classes participate in this ongoing secular bull market. And I think you'll agree with me that it would be great if the particular stocks that we have are always winning all the time. But if we really want to see a long-term secular bull market, which we do because we want the market to go higher for as long as it possibly can before a major correction or bear market. But if that's going to happen, it's going to take all asset classes to participate. So I think that's a good sign. If we look at these three markets here, the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ, you can see just looking at the squiggly line, so to speak, that the industrials, the S&P, again hit lifetime highs. NASDAQ's kind of struggling. And again, you didn't see this last year. But as I said earlier, seasonally, and this is something I talked about last Thursday night, seasonally, March, June, September, December are weak. You can see in yellow here for the high-tech stocks. So there's really nothing out of the ordinary here. The market is just playing out what it normally does in this month of March, and could well happen again in June. You can see on the chart here that March and June are simply not favorable for technology stocks. And I would throw in there discretionary and communication. Those are our three biggest sectors. As you guys know that have been with me for a while as clients, I do not believe in investing in all 11 sectors of the S&P 500. If you want to do that, you can just buy SPY or the SPX mutual fund. But if you're looking to outperform, which is what we strive to do here, you need to go with winners. And that's what we do here at CB3 Financial. We're always researching those and putting them in the portfolios so you guys can benefit from them. Okay, so let's move forward. In the economic indicators of interest, I've got a lot of these for you on Thursday night, but right now, do you remember the V correction that I've been talking about? Look at that pretty V there in the purple or maroon, whatever it looks like on your screen, compared to the 2008-2009 financial crisis. When I hear people getting nervous, and I do have clients that will call me, and sometimes just listeners that aren't particular clients, and say, I just don't feel like this is gonna, correct. I just don't think that we're gonna see this come back to where things were in 2019. I go back to this chart and say, well, look, we're almost back to where we were at ground zero. Ground zero is about February 19 or February 20 of last year. That was the peak of the market. And then it bottomed out on March 23rd. It was a very quick bear market. Look how long it took to recover in 2008 and 9. I mean, we're looking at 25 months. We're here in the 11th month and almost correcting there. So I take that to be a pretty big positive. The crypto corner. You guys have expressed interest to me that you want to see something in crypto every single episode, so I'm doing that for you. Right now, Bitcoin pulled back because a senior Indian official just a few hours ago, meaning 14, I think, told Reuters that it's set to propose a law making it illegal to mine, trade, or even hold private cryptocurrencies. Well, good luck with that, India. That's not going to happen. And they're not the first nation to try to do this. Basically, this is just another situation where the state is coming in and trying to regulate free enterprise. And I just want to take a second to say, many of you mentioned to me, I think it was 3 weeks ago, that 86% of you wanted to know why we make the decisions to buy and sell and what mostly influences those. And I think I've said at the time, sure, profit and loss is important, balance sheets, earnings per share, and GDP and retail sales and, employment numbers. But the single most important factor is that we have a reliable, consistent capitalist environment where companies can be free to innovate according to ways that they want to do it. And that is under siege in America right now. And I will have the first of many segments on why this is a concern, not from a political, remember, we don't talk political issues here. We talk policy that's affecting our investments. This is a financial investment program, but without a doubt, policy does affect investments. And I will keep you guys up to date on that. So my words of wisdom for this week, you cannot legislate the poor into prosperity by legislating the wealthy out of prosperity. And there's certainly some of that policy going on right now in Washington at the federal level. It concerns me greatly, and I will be covering this in my show going forward. Season 2 for Thursday night begins, and my topic for the night, no, globalist. And I realize that might rankle a few listeners out there, but the reality is that the globalists have come in. I just mentioned that with Bitcoin. Okay, they have an agenda to try to make this a one world economy, and that is not to our advantage as Americans. We are the strongest economy in the world. And I simply don't think that that's to our advantage at all. So just reminding you guys, we'll be live on Thursday night. Subscribe to us, okay? And also click the bell so you get our updates. Watch for us on Twitter and also Facebook and LinkedIn. This program, again, is for you guys. I would love to hear from you. cb3@cb3.com is my address. We exist only to bring you honest truth about what is happening in the world that's going to affect your investments. I'm a portfolio manager. I've been doing this for more than 30 years. I trade my own accounts, our own family accounts, trust accounts, and then we have a select group of clients that follow what I am doing. And that's half of our audience on these programs. The other half are people that are candidly pro-American, pro-individualism, pro-wanting to make this country great, and finding companies that follow that philosophy so they can invest in them and prosper in them. I would like to think that there were no impediments to achieving those goals, but folks, there are many. And if you're concerned about those, you found the right program. I'm Charles Brown, Portfolio Manager with CB3 Financial. This is Monday, March 15th. We are glad you've joined us. Please come back Thursday night where we'll have a much more extensive program and take your questions live. We will see you next time. This has been CB3 Live and the Monday Market Mashup.